and we ask you to stay with it all the way until we win.
And you welcomed me and Michelle into your homes. And you picked us up when we needed a lift.
Straight ahead on News 28.5, Americans are hitting the polls and the votes are coming in. Stay tuned to get the latest on the presidential race and other issues on the ballot.
I'm Hannah Carroll. There's 11 amendments on the ballot. We'll focus on a big one, abortion.
I'm Willis McPhee. Can President Obama get the same support he got in the 2008 election?
And with hanging chads still in the minds of voters, today we take a look at how close this election could be. Your News 28.5 starts right now.
From the highest of 7 hills in Florida's capital city, covering every corner of the Big Bend, this is the award-winning News 28.5 Live.
A former FAMU student is killed in a home invasion. Good evening, I'm Ashley Doss.
And I'm Olivia Smith. She was a pre-med student. That's tonight's top story. Former FAMU student Amber Johnson was killed in a home invasion early this morning in Pensacola. Escambia County Sheriff deputies responded to the former Diamond Dancer's home where she was found dead. She was 22 years old.
As the anticipation rises with only a few hours left in this presidential election, it seems that the spirit of some voters have slowly faded away. News 28.5 reporter Willis McPhee joins us live with the very latest. Willis?
It was all about change in President Obama's 2008 election. 4 years later, many people are uncertain if they want to move forward. On November 4th, 2008, many Americans were overwhelmed when Senator Barack Obama became the first African American to be elected President of the United States. This announcement sparked many celebrations throughout the country.
It was a very great feeling. Very rewarding. I think it demonstrated that America had really moved forward with something happening that I thought would never happen in my lifetime.
On Election Day, President Obama gained almost 53% of the popular vote and 365 electoral votes. The 2008 election had highest percentage of voters in 50 years. With President Obama setting records and making history in the 2008 elections, will he still have support during the 2012 re-elections? Many supporters may argue President Obama's actions while in office. During his 4 years, many wonder what has he done for America.
I think a lot of people may have expected too much, and I think people don't take into consideration the obstacles that the Republican Congress, House of Representatives, put up for him. I think that that's something that people should clearly understand.
Compared to the 2008 election, some people wonder, is the thrill gone?
I'm surprised there's hardly anybody out here. My daughter and me and a few other people are holding signs and campaigning. It's really shocking that there is not more people fighting for their right to express their right to vote.
Tonight's announcement will decide the future leader of the United States. With the polls showing President Obama and Governor Romney neck and neck, the announcement may not be made until tomorrow morning. Live in the studio, I'm Willis McPhee.
Willis, for that update, Star Metro offered free rides today to help area voters get to the polls. Tallahassee City Commissioners say they wanted to make sure that everyone had transportation to the polls. Leon County resident Aisha Jimenez, who took the bus to the polls, says she appreciates the city's generosity.
It's a very good thing because people who don't have transportation are able to actually go out and vote, and they ride the bus for free, and it makes them, more willing to want to actually go out and vote. They don't have to worry about paying for transportation to get to where they need to go to, vote.
Polls in our coverage area will close tonight at 7 p.m.
Local voters are wondering why there's 12 presidential candidates on their ballots, but only 2 are talked about. Some believe it's because the other candidates aren't able to raise enough money to campaign. In order for third-party candidates to even qualify for things like the debates, they must earn the support of 15% of the Electoral College.
Because I guess they're the front runners, and with them being the ones that are actually probably with the most money, he was able to, put himself out there, and Obama, with him already being the president, I guess it's always like 2 candidates.
For tonight's results and election coverage, you can visit our website at FAMUTVnews.com.
When it comes to deciding the next president, Florida is expected to play a critical role. Both President Obama and Mitt Romney have visited Florida many times this year to receive Florida's 29 electoral votes. Florida is considered a swing state in this election.
3 Florida Supreme Court justices could become the first removed from office by voters in decades. The Republican Party of Florida's Executive Committee unanimously voted to oppose R. Fred Lewis, Barbara Pariente, and Peggy Quince in today's election.
Florida Democrats are hoping to cut into the Republicans' lead in the state's congressional races. Democratic candidate Senator Al Lawson is running against Republican Representative Steve Sutherland for Florida's District 2 U.S. Representative seat.
Today, voters across the state are making their choice on Amendment 6. News 28.5 reporter Hannah Carroll talked to voters in our area about the controversial issue. Hannah, what can you tell us about this amendment?
Abortion has always been a hot topic. Now, voters in Florida are deciding whether or not they think abortion should be funded by the government. But as you'll see, some think it's a deeper issue. Today, voters across the state have many decisions to make. One of the more controversial decisions is on Amendment 6, also known as the Florida Abortion Amendment. It states that it would prohibit the use of public funds for abortions. Voter Caleb Pitts voted against the amendment based on his views of women's rights.
I don't feel like I should vote to impose my views on something that's not for myself. It's 2012, I think. A woman should be able to do what she wants.
Other voters who are against the amendment think its true meaning isn't stated on the ballot. Cecilia O'Brien said it's really about privacy laws.
So it actually has nothing to do with federal funding. What it actually does is make it so that Florida privacy laws don't apply to abortion, and that could make it easier for Tallahassee politicians to be involved in women's health care decisions.
Voters against the amendment say women's privacy would be stripped if it passes. They also say once it gets passed, more restrictions on women's health care would follow. Some voters see Amendment 6 as an issue of government involvement. Other voters are making their decisions based on their religious beliefs. Carl Baum says he's a very strong Christian. He's voting yes on Amendment 6 based on these views.
The Bible says that the shedding of innocent blood is a sin to God.
Baum also thinks some people are deciding on the amendment based on their views of choice. He says that abortions are the largest form of genocide the world has ever seen.
I could not in good conscience allow the government to provide abortions.
This amendment definitely draws a lot of attention, but people are also talking about the amendments dealing with religious freedom and the growth of state revenue. Live in the studio, I'm Hannah Carroll for News 20 at 5.
Thank you, Hannah. And you can find out the latest election results here with FAMU TV News. We will have both local and presidential race results live tonight beginning at 11 p.m. during our election night special. Be sure to watch us here on FAMU TV 20 or live on the web at FAMUTVnews.com. Coming up on News 20 at 5, Vice President Joe Biden rallies in Ohio and Paul Ryan tries to gather support in Milwaukee before the last vote is cast. And we take a look back on the hanging Chad votes of the 2000 election. Could it be a repeat this year? We have the details.
And in sports, Vic keeps getting hit. Find out what Michael Vick and the Eagles will do to regain ground after Monday night's showdown. Stay tuned, you're watching News 20 at 5.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live United for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
Yeah. That's it.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
I am an American. I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am
An American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
Focusing in on the election race around the nation, Vice President Joe Biden got an early start today. He headed out to the polls in his home state of Delaware to cast his vote in the presidential election. Vice President Joe Biden says he feels pretty good about the election. His comments came after he and his wife casted their votes.
And it's always a kick. I mean, it really is to see people out here, and I hope everybody exercises their right to vote. It's a great honor, and people are standing in line a lot of places. I urge them to stand in line as long as you have to in order to vote.
Delaware holds 3 of the 270 delegates needed for victory.
Campaigning has come to a close, and now it's time for America to decide who will be president. Governor Mitt Romney's running mate Paul Ryan made his final pitch to voters in his home state of Wisconsin. Both campaigns rallied until last night. Final data polls suggest this race will be a close one.
So many Americans have come out to get their country back on the right track, and we know in one day we are going to turn this thing around, elect Mitt Romney the next president of the United States, and get ourselves back on the right track.
The first polling results in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire show that the election might end in a tie.
People are heading to the polls today to cast their early votes or their votes in the 2012 election. Voters gathered at polling sites in Columbus, Ohio and Miami, Florida. These heavy-hitter states are 2 of several battleground states that the presidential candidates have been hitting hard in recent weeks. Ohio holds 18 of the 270 electoral college votes needed for victory.
12 years ago, when the presidential winner was decided by hundreds of voters, the presidency came down to hanging chads in Florida. Election officials had to decide which absentee ballots and punch ballots with hanging flaps to count. Heading into this election, the new hanging chad may be whether officials count absentee ballots or not based on whether they have a signature.
A deadly fire at a hospital in Durham, North Carolina took the life of 1 patient and injured 3 others. The fire happened on the 6th floor of Durham Regional Hospital early this morning. 3 of the hospital's staff got treated for smoke inhalation, and Durham Fire Chief Dan Curious said his team is more than equipped to handle this kind of situation.
More than 25 million people in the U.S. suffer from chronic sinus infection or sinusitis. The traditional treatment has been to prescribe antibiotics to fight off the condition. But health officials say it could be creating a super sinus bug resistant to these drugs. A new test can help treat different forms of sinus infections. Sunas Hendricks tells us more.
Dr. Subhano Das is working to develop a nasal swab test that would identify the type of sinus infection a patient has because it's information doctors really need. In most cases, patients suffer from periodic sinus congestion and pain. But when sinusitis is caused by a bacteria, the side effects can be devastating.
The bacteria can rapidly spread back to your brain or to your eyes and cause serious complications.
Traditional treatment has always been antibiotics. Now doctors are being urged to cut down on antibiotic prescriptions. That's because, according to Infectious Disease Society of America, about 90% of all sinus infections are viral, which cannot be treated by antibiotics. In fact, the medication actually rids the sinuses of healthy bacteria and strengthens the dangerous bacteria, creating a super sinusitis bug that can be treated by any medication.
The big problem in society is that doctors don't know which patients are going to have viral infections that are going to resolve uneventfully, or which ones have bacterial infections.
By knowing whether the cause is viral or bacteria, Dr. Doss says doctors will be able to prescribe the right medication in serious cases without creating a sinusitis resistance to antibiotics. For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
Well, despite some scattered storms last night, really pretty nice Election Day weather really across our coverage area. It will continue to cool down just a little bit. I'll tell you much more about that straight ahead. You're watching News 20 at 5. I think there's a bug on my face.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks, more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
The 9/11 Memorial will honor my partner and the officers who responded that morning.
It's for my brother.
And my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
It's about hope for the future.
So we always remember September 11th. For my husband who never came home.
And the first responders who saved my life.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
That we are united.
And that we are strong.
Because the best of humanity can overcome the worst hate.
It's for all the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Kristen Spilley with today's forecast. Good old Election Day weather, definitely pretty moderate across most of our coverage area. 68 degrees right now and partly sunny. A little bit of more cloud coverage earlier this morning, and of course the temperatures were a little bit lower as well. Our UV index is pretty low at 3, and winds are headed west-northwest at 4 miles an hour. Let's take a look at tonight's weather. Some possible thunderstorms for tonight, but again, shouldn't be so bad. We do dip down a little bit lower, but if you're in the northeast part of maybe Tallahassee or in South Georgia, that's where you really get to see some more of those possible thunderstorms. And the winds are going to be coming in from the north-northwest at 4 miles an hour with the sun setting at 5:45. Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather. It should be really around the same, 65 degrees, sunny and pleasant, you guys. UV index at 5, winds headed northwest at 7 miles an hour. And as we take a look at our area temperatures, it's going to be pretty much consistent across most of our area. It does kind of dip down, like I said, as we get into Crawfordville and Quincy and everything else. But 71 in Valdosta, 64 in Bainbridge, 61 in Albany, the same in Mariana, 63 in Thomasville. A little bit warmer in Moultrie, back down to 63 in Quincy and 68 in Crawfordville. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast, shall we? All right, it's going to be, like I said, Wednesday, pretty consistent, 66, a low of 41, 67 on Thursday, a low of 43. Friday, it's going to be high of 71, low of 47. Saturday, a high of 72, low of 52. And then Sunday, a low of 77, high of 77, low of 59. So, like I said, pretty moderate across our coverage area and sunny. So can't complain about that, can we? Partly sunny on Saturday, but pretty good weather.
All right, really good weather, you guys. Well, coming up in sports, the Florida Gators are biting at the heels of another SEC title. Find out their rank in the AP polls. And the Monday night main event between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints was a game the Philadelphia Eagles may soon want to forget. And then going on to the defending champions Miami Heat were in action against the Phoenix Suns. Find out if LeBron James and company were hot enough to put the Suns out. We'll have that and plenty more in sports coming up next. You're watching News 20 at 5.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. Now, we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
When you're on this team, you learn to never give up.
Even if you're down, third-string quarterback, clock ticking,
hostile environment,
exhausted, you can never lose hope.
There are over 13 million people in the Horn of Africa affected by famine, war, and drought that are counting on us for help.
More people affected than the population of New York City
and Los Angeles combined.
And we can't give up.
Please go to this site and forward the facts about this crisis to everyone you know.
Do more than donate.
Forward the facts.
Takeout meals for just $12.99. Call them.
Sherry Pearson. You are the sole surviving heir of the King of Montanopolis, and you are now worth $45 million.
I'm rich! This can't be real.
Of course it's not real. Come on. Having money isn't about luck. Like that takeout meal. Cook at home instead, you can save thousands a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
Welcome back. I'm Deja Barrett. Well, it's that time again. It's basketball season. The Rattlers opened their season up with a victory against the Albany State Golden Rams last Friday. The men's basketball team will take their talents to Houston, Texas to play the Houston Cougars. This will be the first true test for the young Rattler squad. And the Rattler football team is playing for more than a MEAC title. This week is the Rattlers homecoming game, and the Rattlers are hosting the North Carolina Central Golden Eagles. With the announcement of Coach Joe Taylor's retirement, the team adopted the motto, Go for Joe. As the Seminoles took the Saturday off, the Gators took a big bite out of the Tigers. The Florida Gators are now 6th in the AP polls after beating the Tigers. The Gators are going for the SEC title, and the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns are in the way. The game kicks off this Saturday. The defending champs Miami Heat put on a show in the American Airlines Arena. The Heat proved to be too much for the Phoenix Suns last night. The Heat put up a season high of 124 points and held the Suns only to 91 points. The reigning MVP LeBron James led all scorers with 23 points and 11 rebounds. The NBA is back, but it's without one of the league's star players. The Monday night game was between, the newly acquired point guard Steve Nash was out for 4 weeks with torn fibula. Nash was hurt in the second game of the season against the Portland Trailblazers. Nash will be reevaluated next week. The stars were aligned for the Saints and the fans in the Superdome Monday night. The Monday night's main event between the New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles was a shootout. The New Orleans Saints QB Drew Brees was made quick to work, and the Eagles defense completing 21 out of 27 passes for a combined 239 yards with 2 touchdown passes.
The guys keep working at it and getting themselves better, and some of the sacks, you can look at coverage, you can look at, play calls, you can do the whole thing. But bottom line is we got to block the guys and do a better job.
Michael Vick was sacked 7 times last night, and with 8 games left, the Eagles will try to make their final playoff push. And we're getting ready for some good football. Well, football season is wrapping up and getting ready for basketball season.
Go for Joe.
Right? Yeah, go for Joe.
All right, well, coming up after the break, President Barack Obama's final rally had lots of star power, as well as presidential candidate Mitt Romney's rally, which featured one of rock and roll's finest. Stay tuned, you're watching News 25.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
A&M held its annual Health and Safety Day. The event gives students, faculty, and residents of Tallahassee an opportunity to celebrate wellness. Mildred Brickler has been the chair of Health Day for 4 years and says this year is going to be one to remember.
Some 80-plus community partners who have come out to provide valuable disease prevention, health promotion, social responsibility, and safety information, as well as valuable health screenings. We have about 20-plus health screenings.
The event was a part of FAMU's homecoming event. It took place in the Hansel E. Tooks Recreation Center. TV host Sharon Osbourne recently revealed she underwent a secret double mastectomy last summer. Osbourne told the UK's Hello magazine she decided on surgery after learning she carried the gene associated with breast cancer. The 60-year-old has also survived colon cancer. President Obama had lots of star power to charge his last day of campaigning. Singers Bruce Springsteen and Stevie Wonder performed at rallies in Wisconsin, Ohio, and Iowa. Rapper Jay-Z also took to the stage, tweaking the lyrics of his songs 99 Problems for the occasion.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but mid ain't one.
Obama gave a lighthearted response to Jay-Z's campaign lyrics. He paralleled their backgrounds, calling them American stories. He also said they both have wives that are more popular than they are. Stars also came out to support presidential challenger Mitt Romney. Kid Rock performed yesterday at Romney's rally in Manchester, New Hampshire. His song Born Free is Romney's campaign anthem. Polls show President Obama with a slight lead over Romney in the battleground state. And you can find out the latest election results here with FAMU TV News. We will have both local and presidential race results live tonight beginning at 11 p.m. during our election night special. Be sure to watch us here on FAMU TV 20 or live on the web at FAMUTVnews.com. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. For Kristen, Deja, and Olivia, I'm Ashley Dawes. Thanks for watching. Remember to also follow us at FAMUTVnews.com for more news updates. Have a great evening.